nadando.
Voy a leer unos poemas de Gaspar Garcia Laviana, el comandante Martín, que cayó en este lugar el 11 de diciembre de 1978. Sailing out into 1,000 perfumes went the soul, flooding my desert with fragrance and well-being. Asleep in my present life, my boat sailed calmly on, rocked by waves of hope. Though a huge anchor was weighing down my life, I did not feel its iron bulk on the wings of my soul. I am a hotbed of poppies, plow to untilled lands, deep river. I am inexorable tide, violent volcano, living flame. We are sea against sea, near the shore, foam mixed with foam, wave with wave. My name is David Gullette. I'm president of the Newton, Massachusetts, San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua Sister City Project. We've made a trip today to a location right close to the Costa Rican border, a place where there was a farm called El Infierno, where a famous person in these parts died in combat. His name was Gaspar Garcia Laviana. He was a Spanish missionary, a young man who was carried up in the wave of enthusiasm brought about by Vatican II and what we call liberation theology. He and his friend Pedro Regalado came to Nicaragua in the 70s, deciding to dedicate themselves to the welfare of the poor. Gaspar got caught up in various struggles to bring health and education to the poor people of this zone of southwestern Nicaragua. He also irritated the Somoza dictatorship to the point that they put out a hit on him, tried twice to kill him. He fled into Costa Rica, where he met with Sandinista warriors in exile, guerrilleros in exile, and he decided that he wanted to do the same thing they wanted to do, which is to overthrow the Somoza dictatorship, which he saw as an absolute human evil. He joined the Sandinistas in combat, even though he was a Roman Catholic priest. He had a cross around his neck and an AK-47 in his hand. He was a very successful warrior. He rose to the level of comandante. And in December of 1978, he found himself in this zone right here, heading up a battalion which was called La Columna Benjamin Zeledon, the Benjamin Zeledon column. They were, the troops of Somoza were in the area, and someone tipped them off that Gaspar and his column were here. There was a traitor. And so Gaspar and his people were going to ambush the Guardia Nacional, as they're called, but in fact it went the other way around. They themselves were ambushed. Gaspar stood up firing his gun when perhaps he should have laid low, and they cut him down. That was December 11th, 1978. This site now, partly under the leadership of Don Roger Martinez, is turning into a kind of shrine to this hero of the revolution, this Spanish missionary who gave his life for the liberation of Nicaragua. People in this zone know him as their parish priest in San Juan del Sur, for instance, where we spend our time. Anyone over 35 or 40, you mentioned Gaspar's name, their eyes fill up with tears, as in fact Roger Martinez, even today as we were filming, he began to speak about Gaspar and he just broke down. He was the best. Gaspar was the best thing that ever happened to the people of this zone. And they, here now, 40 years later, they still miss him terribly. So that's what this site is. They're going to develop it more. Roger Martinez wants to put up a gigantic sign on the Costa Rican border as you enter Nicaragua that says, this is the country of Gaspar Garcia Laviana, a Spanish missionary, a Catholic priest who took up arms against the dictatorship and died in combat near this spot. So this is sacred ground for Nicaraguans and for some of us Americans who have followed Nicaragua since the 1980s. This is sacred ground for us too. Green gold, green gold, simply can't be bought with money. It isn't of this world, green gold. It's from heaven. Green gold is what the guerrillero seeks. I seek it too, that green gold, compañero. Green gold, green gold. When at last they see us dead, then they'll give us green gold. When we win the war, don't come full of remorse to my tomb, with roses and carnations red like my spilled blood. I will only allow violets, just like my battered flesh, like my mother's grief, like the hunger of the campesino of my Latin America. Gaspar Garcia Laviana,
¡Presente!